I think it's fair to say that Final Fantasy XIII made something of an impact when it released to the world back in 2010, but not always for the best of reasons. Many gamers took issue with its stringent linearity, inconsistent characterization, and its bloated and overly long plot. Square-Enix are looking to respond to these issues with the release of Final Fantasy XIII-2. The demo hit the internet this week, and I'm taking a look at it to see just how much has changed and what we're in for when the game comes out proper in a few weeks' time. The first thing I noticed when I started off Final Fantasy XIII-2 was how similar it looked to the last game. This is hardly surprising considering it is a direct sequel. From the character design right down to the look of the menus, it isn't necessarily a bad thing. Final Fantasy XIII is still one of the best looking games of this generation, and Final Fantasy XIII-2 looks set to continue with this distinction. Once again, Square Enix are looking to dazzle gamers with their graphical prowess. The small part of the town you get to explore is well rendered, the characters are highly detailed, and the animations are very impressive. Final Fantasy XIII-2 certainly looks the part. Luckily, it plays a lot better this time too. You seem to get more freedom and control in Final Fantasy XIII-2 than you ever did in the previous game. There are far more branching paths and townspeople to interact with. You even get to partake in a few side missions in the demo, which is certainly something you didn't do with the last game. Final Fantasy XIII-2 certainly gives the impression of a far more open-ended RPG, with space to actually explore this time around as opposed to running down endless narrow corridors. The battle system appears to be the one thing that hasn't been given an overhaul. Then again, it was probably one of the only things that did need changing. It seems to be a little more fast-paced this time around, and there's also the addition of a Pokemon-like system, where you collect some of the monsters you slay and add them to your party. It looks like a nice change that could end up being fairly addictive down the line as you level up your monsters along with your main characters. Final Fantasy XIII-2 paints the picture of a much improved sequel to a series that wasn't garnering much faith with its fans. If the demo is anything to go by, the full game may just be the great Final Fantasy title so many of us have been waiting for. Thanks to this trial, I am now looking forward to getting my hands on the game when it's released in just a few weeks' time. If that isn't the point of a good demo, I don't know what is.